Mike, obviously your client agreed to this settlement, so I'm assuming he's on board with it. But can you just give your thoughts and your client's thoughts on it? Because on the surface, it doesn't seem that bad, but at the same time, I mean, it's in line and maybe even more severe than some of the other people involved in this case. So what are your thoughts on what was ultimately decided today?
Well, look, again, this was a negotiated settlement. Look, Dillon's goal is to get back and start fighting, right? He's already lost a fight. He was supposed to fight for Bellator in February. That didn't happen because of the suspension. There's a lot more that surrounds that where, but at the end of the day, Dillon has acted in a professional manner. He's done the right thing. His goal is to get back and to fight for Bellator as soon as possible. It looks like that he has a potential to do that in mid to late May. And so this suspension obviously runs just before that, and this was something that he was interested in pursuing because, again, whether he agrees with 100% of the details of this, that, and the other thing, that's not his goal. His goal was to get back and to start fighting again. So that's why this settlement made sense for him at the time.
Can you put a dollar figure on what this actually costs? I mean, I know we're talking about a $7,500 fine, but he's got to pay you, which I imagine doesn't come cheap. And then you said a potentially one lost fight, maybe even more. I mean, do you know what this actually cost him?
Yeah, well, I don't want to get into the details, but yeah, it cost him significant money. He had a significant contract and a fight set up for February 15th at Mohegan Sun. And he wasn't able to participate in that, so he lost that money. That money's gone. So in addition to the fine he paid here, he's already lost that additional. So really, he paid a lot more of a price than just what's on the paperwork today.
Just in general terms, when you come up with a settlement like this, how does it sort of happen? Do the commission say, we think this, and you come back with this, and you sort of meet in the middle? How do the discussions sort of go?
That's accurate. I mean, I've been talking with the Attorney General's office on behalf of the commission probably since November. With respect to this, and this was a very unique set of facts, of course, that surrounded particularly the Dillon Danis piece of it. I think there were a lot of factors where if Dillon really had wanted to, and we certainly discussed his legal options in that regard, he could have taken this in a different direction. But again, to be 100% candid and clear, Mr. Danis accepts the ruling of the commission today. He agreed to that fine, and he's excited to get back into the cage.
And just why are we hearing about Danis today and not last month? Is it because the facts around him were a bit more murky than the others?
The commission's, the executive director's legal counsel through the Attorney General's office, their goal was to try to deal with the bigger issues first with Conor and with Khabib. Further to that, we hadn't finished our negotiations with respect to Dillon at that point yet either, so it just wasn't ripe for adjudication last month. And again, these are the types of things I look at them very seriously. Certainly Mr. Danis looks at them seriously because he's got to write a pretty big check regardless of how you look at it. So yeah, we take it very seriously, and we didn't want to rush into it without having negotiated as completely and fairly as we could have.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.